In this video, I'll show you how I made this choreographed sword fighting scene in Unreal Engine 5. So this was one of the funnest videos I've done in a long time. And that's because I was finally able to do something that I've wanted to do since I got my hands on this motion capture technology in the first place. I was finally able to get two actors at the same time into the motion capture volume to do some fight choreography. I made a fight scene video recently that was a kung fu fight, and the whole inspiration for that film was that I'd found a way around needing to do choreography. That's because there was this animation pack from Unreal Engie of hand-to-hand combat, and it had paired animations that were, 5-10 seconds long, and it showed the two characters interacting and fighting, and the choreography was so good. The animations were awesome, and it was so easy to just take two of these animations and put them into a scene and then start setting up the cameras. And I wanted to do the same thing with a sword fight, but the problem is there's just not a lot of great paired animations out there. There are paired animations where you might have one or two moves or something, but everything that's out there would be so tedious to stitch together into an actual fight scene. It's almost not really worth it. And as far as I've gotten making films entirely on my own, filming actual fight choreography with myself is really difficult. So I worked with two local stuntmen and choreographers who came in for just 2 hours. And in that 2 hours, they were able to just walk right into the volume and start messing around and coming up with some choreography really on the spot.
So I did 1, 2, 3, and I'll do the fall a couple times.
Okay.
And we ended up with a ton of great animations. The whole process was really smooth, actually. I mean, the motion capture system performed really well. We didn't have to worry about them putting on suits or anything like that. We just made sure they were wearing a wardrobe that would work well, with the capture and then be comfortable for them to do their choreography in. The whole goal was to see if we could use the Move Pro motion capture system that I have to capture something similar to the Unreal Engie hand-to-hand combat animation pack. Almost all the animations turned out really well. The actors were able to do a combination of improv and actually, blocking some scenes out, choreographing some stuff, and then just letting, physics become a factor as well. And like I said, that whole motion capture process took 2 hours. And I just started watching all of the little preview videos. I pulled some into Unreal Engine. I just found a scene that I had in my library for a while, this really awesome sort of broken down cathedral. And it had just amazing lighting already. I did very little to change the lighting here. And then I just dropped into Metahumans and I used the medieval armor pack from Polyphoria for the clothing, and then got the animations that I wanted to use chopped up and into the sequencer and applied to each metahuman. Once that was in place, I baked the animations to the control rig, and that allowed me to go in and actually fine-tune the animations. And honestly, there was not a lot of cleanup done to these animations. I did go in and just remove the hand tracking because one hand is literally just holding a sword, so no need for hand animation. And then the main thing that I was doing was going through and making sure the swords were actually connecting because the swords are just attached to the hand bone. And so, you know, you can see when I just put the animations in, the swords aren't really lining up because like the actual angle of the wrist isn't being tracked accurately. So that was the one thing I had to go in and manually adjust. And I could do a lot better job, but you know, for this it was fine. I knew I was gonna kind of use some shaky camera and frame it in a way that would hide it. But honestly, I only spent maybe 2 hours cleaning the animation up. And once that was cleaned up, I just dropped in 2 cameras. You know, I did one camera for one guy and another for the other, you know, and they're just set up on 2 sort of opposite sides. And then I probably spent maybe 20 to 30 minutes on each camera, just tracking and animating it by hand. You know, kind of just going a little bit down the sequencer and reframing and then putting a keyframe in. I knew if I could get the handheld shakiness just right, it would really sell it. And I knew I wanted, you know, I really wanted to feel the impacts, right, of the combat. At first I was thinking like, oh, maybe the camera would shake a little every time the swords would hit, but that doesn't actually make sense. So I kind of just came up with the idea of them like bumping into the camera or like hitting the camera by accident or something. And it ended up working really well. I just put in like a little bit of camera shake and kind of animated the camera when it was nearby the characters, and it turned out really well. But yeah, it's awesome to have these sort of Lego pieces of a fight scene that you can mix and match to sort of build your own choreography, and then you can set it in any setting you want, use any camera angles, you know, make it any style. And the idea is that I'm building enough Lego pieces, enough building blocks to eventually make a whole battle scene, you know, of any kind of scale. So in this case, it's just a generic short sword because that was the easiest to do, and also because I think it has a lot of uses. But, you know, we want to do, you know, other types of swords, maybe katanas or samurai sword style stuff, you know, broadsword, pikes, spears, all the sorts of things you might see in a medieval battle scene. So let me know in the comments, you know, what other kinds of choreography you'd like to see. You know, what could you imagine using this to create yourself? All right, that's enough for this video. If you found it interesting or valuable in any way, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Come by the Discord, show off what you're making, you know, and we love to just talk all things Unreal Engine filmmaking. It's a great, really helpful, supportive community, and it's awesome. I think it's turning into one of the best, you know, online resources for this kind of thing. All right, my name's Charlie, and I will see you in the next one.